Are you worried about diabetes? What if I told you that certain vitamins could significantly reduce your risk? Definitely. Yes, it is true. And today, we are going to talk, we're going to basically show exactly how that is.
Hello, everyone. We are diving into the top 7 vitamins to prevent diabetes naturally. So, from boosting your insulin sensitivity to regulating your blood sugar levels. So, these vitamins are powerhouse.
Come on, man. Powerhouse, right?
Yes. Defenders against diabetes.
Oh, come on. Say it again. Powerhouse defenders against diabetes. These vitamins that we're going to be talking about. So join us as we explore each vitamin, backed by science, of course, that can help keep diabetes at bay. Whether you are at risk or just, looking for ways to stay healthy, that's what we are about, right? Or if you just don't want to do anything, just make sure that you don't miss out on this particular show because, hey, you are going to benefit whether you have a family history or not.
So are you ready to empower your health? Let's get started.
Come on, man. Let's just get started right now. All right. Welcome back. And we are back for business. Yep. Let's dive into the top vitamins that can help, naturally prevent diabetes. All vitamins help. So when I say I can help, I got to add the fact that naturally to prevent diabetes. We will discuss 4 main vitamins and 3 essential minerals because, that's what they are. But for the simplicity of our show, we're just going to call all of them vitamins. So if you know a little bit about, health, you may say that, but that's not a vitamin. Yeah, not all of them are vitamins, but we're going to talk about 4 main and then 3 essential minerals that will help everything. We're also going to, cover some of the recommended doses where necessary, and then potentially also show you where you can find them in your diet. All right, so first up is vitamin D. Oh, come on, man. Vitamin D. This essential vitamin is crucial for insulin sensitivity. As a matter of fact, almost every study that you pick up today will tell you that vitamin D helps with insulin sensitivity, which basically means that if you want to regulate your blood sugar well, your vitamin D levels should be on point. It helps with blood sugar regulation, and every study out there mentions that. Unless it's not done, almost every study says that vitamin D is something that we need if we want to prevent diabetes. And so it is a well-known fact, and we want to make sure that we bring that knowledge to you if you didn't know. You probably knew, but do you know your vitamin D levels? So vitamin D can significantly lower the risk of developing type 2 diabetes in this case. And although not conclusive, higher doses and maintaining adequate levels may actually be the most benefit. A study, from 2018 and 2013, hamsters called He et al. And another one called Pills. They are all confirming the fact that vitamin D, in fact, higher doses of vitamin D may be what you need. Now, I know Gifty may want to sound a note of caution because we were talking about it and you said something like that, right?
Yeah, so you don't want to just jump in and grab anything or any dose over the counter. You just have to make sure you talk to your doctor first before you go because you don't know how much you need. So we go to the doctors, you do the blood work, they do the levels where you are so that you take the right dose, which is appropriate for you. So you can get vitamin D from sunlight, like you call it sunlight sunshine vitamins. So you can get it from sunlight, fatty fish like salmon and mackerel, and fortified foods like milk, and cereal. You can also get it over the counter, like I mentioned already. And the doses normally ranges from 200 to 2,000 international units per day, depending on your blood level and your doctor's advice.
That's a key there, right? Depending on your blood levels and your doctor's advice. I may just want to say something though, because there are some studies in Europe where in the US the recommended, daily intake of vitamin D is about 400 units per day. But in Europe, there has been a recent study, I think it was in the UK, where basically the researchers have found that people should be taking doses of around 5,000 international units a day.
Yes, right.
Right? People should be taking doses of about 5,000 units a day.
5,000.
5,000 units. This is a study that is from, I think it's from the UK. I'm not sure if it's the European Union, but I'm pretty sure it's from the UK. There are studies showing that doses must be around 5,000 international units per day. But then again, the caution is, like Gifty said, you cannot just start taking it that way without your doctor checking your levels. And then also, we talked about the fact that in a dark-skinned people like us, vitamin D levels that you take may actually be high. You may require higher doses, I should say, because the sunshine doesn't hit your skin that great enough for you to be able to make vitamin D by yourself, unlike light-skinned people. And then also, in the colder months, most people stay inside and don't go to the sun at all. As a matter of fact, where we live, even in warmer months, people don't even have the time to go outside and see the sun, where your skin can basically make some vitamin D for you. And so supplementing vitamin D is a very essential thing that we must all be doing. But before you take any vitamin D, you got to make sure your doctor checks your level and then knows where you are. But to prevent diabetes, if you have a family history or you are pre-diabetic, you definitely need to find out your levels, or at least supplement at a lower dose if you don't know yet. I think that is where I will leave that out. What do you think?
Yeah. So, and also, I think we sometimes say vitamin D, calcium, vitamin D. You need that for your bones, and you have your joints and all that. So today we are learning that not only does it help with the bones and your health, your joint health, it also help prevent diabetes. So if you are pre-diabetic or you have family history, you have to make sure that you have sufficient amounts of vitamin D in your blood so that you'll be able to really deal with such a condition.
Definitely. Sufficient levels. If you don't know, check your levels. But if anything at all, especially if you live in the temperate regions where it is cold, you may benefit from supplementation, if nothing at all, during the colder months, because most people are indoors and we don't see the sun. And the reason is that we need the sunshine on your skin to be able to make your vitamin D. Unless, we find out, I think you already said the food sources, right? Unless you enjoy these fatty fish and salmon and all those that mackerel. If you eat enough of those, you may get some, but supplementation may be something you need. Just talk to your doctor and see if it is something that you got to do. But with that being said, we can move forward. So now we're going to move on to the next vitamin, which is vitamin B12. Another great one. Right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so studies have shown that vitamin B12 helps in glucose metabolism, right? So deficiency of vitamin B12 is common in pre-diabetics. So if you don't know your level or you want to know, it's something that you can look into. Vitamin B12 help with glucose metabolism, the way that glucose is broken down in your system. If you have enough B12 in your system, that help regulate that levels so that you don't find yourself being diabetic because you're not able to process or break down the glucose when you take it.
Perfect. And the other key thing that you also mentioned that I want to draw attention to is the fact that they found deficiency of vitamin B12 in people who have prediabetes. So people who were on their way to getting diabetes, when they do blood levels of B12, they found out that their B12 levels were low. In other words, it was, I don't know whether it's a precursor to diabetes or not, but the fact that people on their way to being diabetic had low levels of B12 suggests that maybe if your levels are higher, you may prevent diabetes from happening. So that's a key thing that we need to also make sure that we take to the bank. The other thing is, it is crucial for nerve health. Vitamin B12, one of the things is that, apart from what Gifty said, is that it is crucial for nerve health, your nervous system, your nerves, basically. And it is also seen that if it is if your B12s are depleted, whether because if we switch to people who are diabetic already, talking now about people who are diabetic, right? Because some people are already diabetic and they are watching our show. If you're already diabetic and you are taking medications such as metformin, which is basically a first line, I should say, for most diabetics. If you have been taking metformin for so long, what happens is metformin decreases your ability to, increase your B12 levels. So long use of metformin will make sure your B12 levels are going down. And so it is crucial that you who are taking metformin also check your B12 levels. Let your doctor know to check to see if you need to supplement your B12 levels so that you don't run into nerve problems or even, further blood glucose intolerance or, being all over the place. So because that's what it is, it's been found with, diabetics who use metformin all the time that, their B12 levels usually are depleted. I think there's another medication.
Yes, so we also have the proton pump inhibitors, the PPIs, right? We have the Protonix, the omeprazole, the Prilosec, the medication that you take to prevent the production of acid in your system. So if you take that kind of medication for too long period of time, long term, then your chance of having depletion in vitamin B12 is very high. So you have to make sure that if you're taking such medications, you need to supplement so that you have enough levels in your system for your system and your nerves to work properly.
Definitely. All right, so we'll move forward.
Yeah, so we've learned that vitamin B12 is very important. So where can we get these vitamin? Naturally, right, in our foods. So we have animal products like meat. The red meat, if you eat red meat.
Lean red meat. Because we are not a fan of red meat at all. So lean, the one that doesn't have fat.
So we try to encourage you to stay away from meat. But in case you're eating the lean form of the meat, you get your vitamin B12 from there. And also you can find B12 in milk, the almond milk, the good source of milk. You can get your B12. And you can also get it in eggs.
In eggs, right?
Eggs are rich in vitamin B12. So if you eat 2 a day, it's likely that you supplement the levels of your B12 in your system. So if you are supplementing in addition to your diet, in addition to your food, or if you feel like you don't really eat a balanced diet or you're not eating the red meat, you're staying away from the red meat, it's encouraged that you can supplement it by getting it over the counter, right? So it's recommended that you can start from 2.5 micrograms per day. So this is the level that you can start from. But like we said, it's always advisable to check with your doctor so that you can know where you are, so that if you need much more, the doctor will be able to help you out. We have prescription doses too. So if the doctor knows that you are really, really low in that case, then they may give you like injectables. We have something
even higher dose tablets.
higher dose tablets too that you can do to supplement. So you don't want to live in the dark. You have to know where you are so that you are able to supplement and get the level that is very right, so that you don't just do things anyhow. But the starting point, like I said, is 2.4 micrograms.
Definitely. All right, so we're moving forward. We're going to hit another B vitamin. Again, if you are just joining us, we are talking about preventing diabetes with top-notch vitamins and minerals. All right, so we talked about vitamin D, B12, and now we are on B1. That's the next one. So B1 is also critical for glucose metabolism, with evidence showing that gut microbes producing vitamin B1 could reduce diabetes risk. So the study that I'm actually calling this out of by Wang et al. 2022, they subjected people to gut microbes who were which was able to increase their B1 or thiamine levels in their gut. Thiamine, yeah, B1. So when those gut microbes were able to increase those levels in their gut or in their digestive system, those people had less incidence of diabetes and insulin resistance. And so the studies have proven, and that's not just that, there are several other studies. So that means that B1 is important. There's another way that B1 also works, another study, and I will let Gifty also talk a little bit about that.
Yes, so we can see that with the study that you mentioned, that vitamin B1 is very important in preventing complications in diabetes. So because you are able to synthesize or break down the glucose that you are taking in, because your levels of vitamin B1 is on point. So if you do that, it means that it's helping you control or prevent complication of diabetes if you take B1. So another point is like B1 is as important as B12 and as important as vitamin D.
Definitely. And the same study also, when they did the B1, they also studied alongside B1 another vitamin called B6. And B6 also produced by the gut bacteria also has been associated with glucose regulation, suggesting that dietary sources of, vitamin B6 or even the microbes that support B6 production could help prevent diabetes.
Wow.
And so it may not take a lot, especially if you are at the pre-diabetic stage. You got to supplement your B1, B12, vitamin D levels. Definitely. If you have diabetes also, you got to supplement on all those, because it will help you somewhat, at least to control your sugars, per the studies that we have already mentioned, the Wang study. So B1 is something, and B6 is another thing that you need to definitely check to see with your doctor, see if it is something that you have to take on yourself, or increase maybe in your diet or whatever. And Gifty, you tell us where we can get it from in our diet?
Yes, so there's the B1. You can get B1, which is also known as thiamine, right? You can get that in pork. I don't know about pork as part of your diet.
Because it's going to defeat the purpose of all the fatty, streaks that we say avoid, right? We're talking about not eating fatty meat. And pork is so much full of fat. So we will mention it anyway, because that's what the studies say, right?
We just want to be complete, right?
Too, right?
Yes, so you can get vitamin B1 in pork. You can get it in brown rice and fortified breads.
Okay.
So a daily dose of supplements ranges from 1.2 to 1.5 milligrams a day.
So, to be practical, if you go on the pharmacy shelf, you may not see a tablet that is 1.2 milligrams to buy. That is formulated in higher doses. But this is like the dosing that should be part of your meal all the time, daily. But if you need more and you go on the shelf, you may potentially find it starting from 100 milligrams, or more. And again, before you do that, make sure that you have spoken to your doctor about it and they've checked your levels to see, or your risk at least, to see if you really need B1 vitamins. So the next one.
Yes, so we've talked about 3 vitamins so far, right? Vitamin D, vitamin B12, and vitamin B1
and B6.
And B6. So we combine the B1 and B6.
Yes.
Okay. So the final vitamin that we're talking about is vitamin C.
Oh, come on, man. Vitamin C for you right there.
So vitamin C isn't just for immune support. Like if you are coming down with cold, we encourage you to take a higher dose of vitamin C, right? It's not only for that. It's also known to be powerful antioxidant, right? That can counteract high blood sugar effects and improve arterial health. Simply put, it's just that vitamin C help work well your arteries, arterial health. So it help maintain the health of the arteries in your system. In so doing, it's helping you control how you can break down sugars in your system so that diabetes is prevented.
And it's an antioxidant, definitely right there. All right, so more on vitamin C. Let's see. So vitamin C levels are often lower in diabetic individuals.
Right, that one too, huh?
Yes. So if you are diabetic and you don't know your vitamin C levels, you can check. But traditionally, it is found that people with diabetes have low levels of vitamin C. So you can benefit from, supplement. And if you don't have diabetes and you want to prevent diabetes, you may also be able to supplement or at least eat the foods that are rich in vitamin C, so that you get a benefit of, the C vitamins, because it helps protect against the bad effects of diabetes, as Gifty said, in preventing, oxidative stress, because it's an antioxidant. Yeah. And the sources of vitamin C include citrus fruits. Most people know about oranges and lime and all those.
Grapes.
They also have abundance in strawberries, bell peppers, as well as packed, in other most colorful fruits that you can think of. We don't want to restrict you to only these fruits. Almost every fruit has vitamin C in there.
Right.
And so if you eat good sources of fruit, you can have natural sources of vitamin C. But if you want to supplement, I do supplement. Especially in the colder months, I take some vitamin C.
Right.
Because, a lot of people are coughing around me, a lot of people have the flu, a lot of people have cold. So I tend to supplement, especially around the colder months. And over the counter, you usually would find doses ranging from 500 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams per day, depending on what you want to start at. The only thing is you got to be careful not to go too much. Once you get above 1,000 milligrams, you begin to go into diarrhea. And so just make sure that much as you supplement, you are on the low end, 500 to 1,000 milligrams. And of course, ask your doctor first before you take anything. All right. So I think that is up for the vitamins. Now let's hit on the minerals. You want to start there?
So the first mineral that we are talking about is magnesium.
Magnesium. Oh, come on, man. Magnesium for you.
So this mineral plays a key role in controlling glucose levels and has been linked to lower rates of type 2 diabetes. So low magnesium levels are often seen in people with diabetes, just like the previous vitamins that we talked about. So maintaining adequate levels is very essential.
Very essential to have adequate levels of magnesium. Adequate levels, not too much though, because too much could also land you into trouble, either diarrhea or arrhythmias. All right, so again, talk to your doctor first. But like she said, people with diabetes have been found to have inadequate levels of magnesium. And so if you don't want to have diabetes, or if you have a family history, maybe making sure your magnesium levels are on point will be a good starting place to be. So as to prevent you from getting diabetes. making things as simple as it is. Somebody may say that you're making it too simple. Yes, let's take it the simpler way because we don't have time to go into advanced things here. So make sure that your magnesium levels are on point. And again, you can have your doctors check your levels to tell you if you are good. If not, they would definitely give you the direction to buy some from over the counter and have you take it. This is one of those that you don't want to just buy because you could hurt yourself if it is too much. Either with arrhythmias or diarrhea or constipation, it could cause a problem if you have too much. Yeah. So definitely talk to your provider and ensure that you are taking safe amounts, especially if you want to protect yourself against diabetes. The funny thing is, it also happens in hypertension. People with blood pressure issues too may benefit from magnesium. And again, don't just take it from me. Talk to your doctor and see if your levels are okay, or if not, you probably could benefit. The other thing is what? It is crucial for insulin function and glucose regulation. So apart from what we just started earlier on to say, that is another thing that magnesium does. Its higher intake is associated with lower diabetes risk. Again, don't go and take high I'm just reading you a study that has proven, or that is proving our point. But it doesn't mean everybody has to take a high amount. Some people will grab a statement and run with it, and sometimes that statement may not be may not apply to them. So just find this as something as a starting point. Okay, let me ask my doctor to check my levels to see if my levels are on point. If you don't have a doctor and you want to take magnesium, talk to anybody who is in healthcare, especially your pharmacist, so that you take maybe the lowest dose possible. Unless, you just want to stick to the natural sources, which can also increase your levels if you stick to it long enough, which is what we are also potentially going to talk about next. Can you help me with the sources of
so great sources of magnesium include spinach.
Spinach, oh my goodness.
We have it in almonds and black beans. So basically, green leafy vegetables, nuts, and seeds have been shown to have a high amount of magnesium.
All right, and again, if I will come in again for the supplements, it starts around 200 milligrams over the counter for people who are going to buy it on the shelf, all the way to 400. As a matter of fact, there's even formulation for 500 milligrams.
Right.
But for the purposes, if you are going to be taking it, make sure you ask your doctor to see where you can actually start from, because you can't just go in and buy it yourself. All right, so we're going to the next one. And the next one, which is the sixth vitamin, this one is another mineral, is chromium. And a lot of people know about chromium. As a matter of fact, before I even went to college about these things, I have heard that chromium is good. People were buying chromium supplements over the counter. So it is a well-known fact that chromium is vital for metabolizing carbs and also fats and enhancing insulin's effectiveness. So it's well known. So that's something that you could also, invest yourself in, especially in the foods that come with it, because they help insulin function more effectively. And a deficiency or lack or low levels of chromium might contribute to impaired glucose tolerance. When we test people for diabetes, sometimes we give them sugar to eat, a bunch of sugar to eat, and we watch them, we test their blood glucose levels and stuff to see how they tolerate glucose. Such people with low chromium may not tolerate glucose that well. They will go to the bathroom and pee, right? Because their glucose is all over their body. Impaired glucose tolerance, which basically means type 2 diabetes. And so if you have optimum levels of chromium, then you definitely will protect yourself against glucose intolerance.
Okay, so where can we find chromium? Okay, so chromium can be found in whole grains, nuts again, right? We have broccoli and green beans instead of black beans. Now we're talking about green beans. Is also excellent sources. So you can get supplements over the counter, just like the other minerals and the other vitamins. And the doses start from 20 to 35 micrograms per day.
Definitely. That is it. All right, so that was chromium for you. We'll give to telling you the natural sources. You can always go back to the video and watch it again if you forget where you can get them naturally, because that's the safest way. If you can eat the foods that have them more consistently, you may not need to buy it over the counter, unless your levels are so low that your doctor says, no, you got to take it on the shelf, a supplement. So that is where you can do. You can go back and look at the video, watch the video over and over. All right, so the next and the last or final vitamin, but this one is a mineral, is what we call alpha lipoic acid, also called ALA. This is also a powerful antioxidant, kind of like vitamin C, right?
C, yeah.
But this antioxidant also fights oxidative stress, which is a major factor in diabetes. It helps lower glucose levels and increase insulin sensitivity. So ALA for you, there are formulations. It also helps your body actually to use insulin better. ALA. And then it also makes easier. It keeps, helps your body to keep blood sugar levels in check. Keeps it easy for your body to keep blood sugar levels in check. So that is ALA, or alpha lipoic acid for you. And again, you tell us.
So in order to protect against common diabetes complications like nerve and eye damage, it is very important that you get your ALA on point, right? So if you are looking for support in metabolic health naturally,
you need to take
to do all that. So you can get this naturally from spinach, broccoli, and sometimes you have to check with your doctor if you want to supplement, and the amount, the level that it starts from is 600 milligrams a day.
600 milligrams a day. That is very good. If you have to buy it on the shelf, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So now let's talk generally. We're talking about how to prevent diabetes using these vitamins. But can we talk about maybe a couple of lifestyle things? Because somebody may think that doing this alone is enough, and they may not do the comprehensive strategy. We just want to hit on some of the comprehensive strategies apart from these vitamins, because vitamins alone will not stop it, especially if you have a family history. If you have a family history of diabetes and you say that, oh, I watched the video, I will take ALA, I will take magnesium, I will take B1, I will take B6, I will take chromium, I will take what? Vitamin D, and I will not get diabetes. No, you're kidding me. It ain't gonna happen like that. You got to approach diabetes prevention with a comprehensive approach, comprehensive strategy. And so the vitamins are one portion. And there's a few other things that we can talk about. I'm going to add one where I give to you also things about some, maybe have some that you're going to bring up. But you got to have exercise routines. If you are serious about wanting to prevent diabetes, type 2 diabetes from hitting you, you got to have a strategy to do exercise, regular exercise, 30 to 45 minutes, at least 3 times a week. If you do it daily, that's even better. But you got to have that on board. You have to have regular exercises. That way you train your body to use the glucose that you take in and avoid having excesses running in your blood, which is basically type 2 diabetes. So that is one. And if you have anything to add to
Yes, so in order to add to what you're saying, I think apart from exercising and watching your diet, I think you have to keep your annual appointment with your doctor.
Oh, come on, man. You have to check.
You have to check. So especially if you have family history, I think when you go to the doctors, they do the basic test. So they have to keep monitoring and see where you are. So if you have not been to the doctor for almost 5 years and you don't feel sick, it's great that you don't feel sick. But it's very important that you need the tests to really confirm that you are in the safe range. You may have fallen into, or you're about to be, you are at pre-diabetic or somewhere closer to it, and you think you don't know, and you're just following up with your doctor, annual checks regularly is very important. And with the exercise, if I can throw a little more light to it. So like we are saying that the chromium, the vitamins and the minerals make the glucose, the insulin very sensitive, right? Exercise also shows that if you are lifting the weight and you are moving and you're stretching and you're doing the basic 30 minutes a day, you make the insulin that you take in, your glucose that you take in, the insulin that you produce become very sensitive. That is able to act on it so that you don't tend to store a lot of glucose that can lead you for being a pre-diabetic, or your insulin may be insensitive, that can lead you to be diabetic. So exercise is very important, and monitoring year to year, year by year is also very important.
Definitely. And I'll also add that if you are concerned with diabetes, type 2 diabetes, which is so rampant, there's no way, no how you should be eating sugar. Come on, man. No way. That is the first thing. I mean, when I say eat sugar, somebody will say, oh, but nobody eats sugar. Yeah, you don't eat sugar, but you drink soda, you drink mineral, you drink Coke, you drink Fanta, you drink Tampico. What else do you drink?
You add sugar to
You add sugar to your tea, your coffee. You add sugar to your porridge, your oatmeal. Anytime you are adding sugar, you are reducing, your protection from diabetes at some point. And we don't want to use this show for that. We have had a series on how bad added sugar is. So if you're watching us for the first time, make sure you go back to our channel and watch those, because sugar is bad for diabetes. I mean, it's so obvious, apart from all the other things that we talked about in terms of, erectile dysfunction, hormonal imbalance, all those bad stuff that sugar does. Diabetes is the most obvious one. That one is straightforward. In fact, people who haven't even gone to school in this area know that, we even call in some languages, sugar disease, right? So it means that sugar must be eliminated. If you can't stop eating sugar, forget about, these vitamins, because you're already taking in something extra for your body to work with again, that is harmful. So what's the point of taking vitamins? And this is where sometimes Gifty and I will go into an argument. Oh, a little bit is fine, just once a while. And then I would say, no, because
so I don't feel deprived, right?
I mean, you got good points there. But sometimes if you give people the chance, they are like, oh, a little bit is like two times a day. Yeah, so definitely let's try and avoid added sugar
as much as
possible. If we really truly want to avoid diabetes, added sugar should be our number one enemy before we even think about vitamin D or B6. That's extra. Sugar is out. And I hope you guys who are watching will take this to the bank. Like, if nothing at all, added sugar is one that you have to stop. Any other thing, a comprehensive strategy for preventing diabetes apart from these vitamins that come to mind? So we talked about annual checkups, especially if you have family history. I mean, you have to have it, whether or not you have family history. And then, what else did you say? Exercise, regular exercise. Avoid eating added sugar. I think that's enough. Let's wrap up our show from there. So with that being said, we want to go back and close our show. And we say, by incorporating these vitamins into your diet, or supplement routine, you can help safeguard against diabetes and support overall health.
Yes, so don't forget, it's essential to consult with your healthcare provider before starting any new supplement regimen, especially if you have pre-existing health conditions or are currently on medication. Is very important, because for all that these vitamins are going to harm you or cause havoc because of a pre-existing condition. So you need to consult with your doctor first.